What's up, Blenderheads? Today we talk about a band that has probably influenced 80% of the bands that we have reviewed, and we have probably no idea. We're talking about Depeche Mode, Violator, released in 1990. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, gentlemen.
I really thought you were going somewhere with that.
I've always been a fan of Depeche Mode, but the reason why I picked this album was because I went through this stage where I was like listening to this album like kind of for like a week or two. And then I put it away.
When was this?
Months ago, because we've even had this for a minute.
Okay.
So this is why I picked it. And I listened to it, pulled the record out, listened to it, didn't leave. I listened to it headphones at work. And then my niece, Taylor, posted that she was listening to this album.
Really?
We did a fan request for one of them, right?
Yes.
Yes. Green
Day
Day
Dookie, yeah.
And so I saw that she, posted that, and she's been collecting vinyl lately, and Metallica is one of her favorite bands, and she's been buying all the Metallica. She has Metallica records that I don't have.
I'm sorry.
And anyways, I saw that she posted that she was listening to it, and I bought it right away for her because I knew she probably didn't have it on vinyl. And
good uncle points.
And I picked this because it proves a point. This band has been around for years, and it's still influencing a younger generation. It has stood the test of time, and so I just wanted to see where it stands with you guys. Casey?
So I grew up Depeche Mode.
Really?
They were kind of my own personal Jesus when I was a kid.
I get it.
No, so like back when I was a kid, like Depeche Mode, like I was really into like before my hair metal, I was into like the dance kind of electronica stuff.
You're talking very young.
Oh yeah, very young, like maybe like 8, 9, 10, like
yeah, 4th grade.
My Aunt Gloria and like my mom and my friend Shannon's mom were really big into like going to like the discotheques at the Copper Penny in Portland, Oregon when we were kids. And like, so
shout out to Aunt Gloria, because she's been brought up before, so she's obviously had an influence.
She on my life.
So shout out real quick.
Shout out to Aunt Gloria. Rest in peace.
She's still alive.
She was very old.
No, she wasn't. But yeah, so
don't show Aunt Gloria this episode.
She'll
so we grew up,
paddle your bottom.
I think you're thinking of my Aunt Margaret.
I am.
How many aunts?
I am. I'm sorry.
How many aunts have you?
My Aunt Margaret was my great Aunt Margaret, but we just called her Aunt Margaret.
She was very old. Yeah.
She was awesome. But yeah, so we grew up kind of in like this weird limbo of like dance music, electron. My brother was really into like New Kids on the Block and
Paul
MC
Abdul.
Hammer and Paul Abdul and stuff back in the day.
I remember
and this kind of blended in with that.
Into a fake plastic golf club. New Kids on the Block. Step by step. Dude, I was a youngin', dude.
You're lame.
I kind of, you know what I mean? That was my first listen of some stuff.
The first thing I really got into was like, I didn't get into this, but like around the same time was like MC Hammer.
Okay.
A little later, I guess.
MC Hammer was good.
MC Hammer and...
it's funny you bring up MC Hammer.
With the pants.
That's MC Hammer.
That's MC Hammer.
Oh,
no,
Vanilla
Ice, yes.
Oh my God.
So Depeche Mode was always kind of in the background growing up. It was kind of that medium band that everybody listened to. We could listen to with our parents or our friends who weren't into the same style of music as us. What about you, Matt?
It's interesting. When Nathan picked this, I was like, oh, fuck. Because, like, literally, like, a few weeks before you picked it, one of my coworkers, he's in the new wave and stuff like that. And I was just giving him shit about it. And I'm like, lame. You know what I mean? He likes
like loser.
And I was like, all right, well, what's the best like Depeche Mode album? What, like if I had to listen to one, which one would you say? He's like, oh, listen to Violator. And I did, and immediately I was like, oh, dude. I've been talking shit for the longest time. And then when you picked it, I was like, oh, dude, I just listened to this like weeks ago.
Perfect. I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
It's actually funny because like I talk about like this is kind of like what I remember Depeche Mode always as a kid, but like looking at the release date, this was released in 1990.
Dude. Their 7th studio album, man.
It is, and
that's what I mean. Stood the test of time. They had shit before this that was hits.
Like they said on an interview, I don't remember, I didn't notate where it was from, but they said that they wanted to do like all their pre-production for this album to like a minimum and kind of like go back on the way, because normally they would just drill the shit out of these albums before they went to production, and this one they just kind of let it free flow, and it kind of feels organic.
I would
feels
agree,
super organic.
100%.
But
that's a good observation, because there's even like good guitar on this.
Yeah,
dude, the guitar in this is fucking killer.
Yeah, you know, and it doesn't sound like super electronic all the time.
No, it doesn't. Like there's organicness to it. It's like it's really cool. But
it's not in everything either.
Yeah.
No, they tastefully kind of like, to take something from Nathan's page, they sprinkle it in there.
They pepper it in, dude.
They pepper it in.
A little bit of black pepper.
So, but to kind of touch on it, so like I remember a lot of this stuff, and then looking back at the release date of 1990, I was like, I feel like I remembered Depeche Mode even when I was a little kid, like before 1990. 1990, I was what? March of 1990, so I was 9 years old. And I feel like
that's awesome.
I feel like I knew this album before then. And when you picked it, because I haven't listened to this probably since Russ lived with me on Philippine Street. Every song on this was the Depeche Mode songs that I remember from being a kid.
That's weird. When I listened to it, I was like messaging my coworker, Pete. Shout out to Pete, by the way. And I was like, oh, I know this song.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this song. And then as it got deeper, I was like, fuck, I know this song too.
Yeah.
And this is like the best song. And like,
yeah, it's like every song comes
but
out.
it also has deep fucking cuts.
Well, and that's the thing. Like you listen to it, and you're like, "Oh, this is my favorite." Depeche Mode.
This album, like
I'm new to it, but I listened to it so much that like,
dude, Clean and Dangerous.
Clean is so good. The lyrics on Clean.
So the lyrics
on Clean,
all
if you know what I
with
mean.
This whole thing is amazing.
Oh my god,
dude, the lyrics are great.
I'm not into new wave or this kind of music. This kind of fucked me up, dude. This
hold on,
dude,
so
the arrangements of what?
Yes, dude.
Okay, so you're into new wave or this kind of stuff.
But like, I think of new wave, I think of Flock of Seagulls.
Oh, okay, I think that's '80s new wave though. That's completely
this is
different.
like '90s.
Well, and also
bro.
I think this is what those bands were they were trying to be like this, but got like Depeche Mode like stayed true to who they were, and they always have. You know what I mean? Like
Depeche Mode's always had that kind of niche that they fit into, and they do it really well.
Oh, because
and they excel at it. I mean, it's not talking
this
shit
is like
about
expert
them.
level.
Yeah, exactly. This is like
because they are the experts.
Yeah,
You're also in the camp of like Depeche Mode and New Order.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like there's
Word.
like the two camps, like New Order, you know, the band that came off Joy Division and stuff, and you know, Depeche Mode. And I've like always kind of rode the fence on it. And after like listening to this, like this is, dude, Depeche Mode has great songs even before this, like you said.
Sure.
Like, dude, 7th album, like they've always been good. But for some reason, some of this shit just hits so hard.
Well,
dude.
and I think that comes back
dude.
to like what you said, that organic, like we were talking about, that organic feel of like not pre-producing this into the ground, not running this to the ground, and really like trying to perfect it and trying to go with that organic.
It feels
feel.
like they wrote some of these songs in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but they were fucking,
and they just nailed it. That happens a lot, right?
It's crazy, and there's this like kind of to touch on what Nathan said, like there's this line that you ride of like great bands of the genre, and I think Depeche Mode's kind of like the band for this genre. Steely Dan's
sure.
the band for their genre. Like there's just like these weird like forefathers that kind of pass the torch, but even when they pass it, they continue to just carry it. It's like, oh yeah, you could touch the torch.
I think this band has definitely just carried it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and
They
that's what I
just
think.
recently came out with a new album. If you haven't heard it, go out and listen to it. It is fucking killer.
So I haven't checked it out.
I think it's called Memento Mori.
Yeah, Memento Mori. It like has some killer tracks on it.
It's
Still.
really good.
And they're true to their sound. They're constantly changing.
See, and that's something that's really cool that you've got to commend a band, because like one of the things that we talk about a lot on this show is when a band changes their sound every album, they lose kind of like their identity. But I feel like Depeche Mode changes their sound just enough to be like evolutionary, but they still maintain their core.
Yeah, I
which
think
is
they're
really
just
cool.
doing and playing with it too. I love that they started this trend that like of like remixes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I love that Nine Inch Nails, highly influenced by Depeche Mode, does remixes of
Well, even
songs.
Fear Factory does it.
Yeah.
Dude, like there's so many people in bands that are so influenced by Depeche Mode, and there's still, like I said, the longevity and the newer generations are also picking up on how good it is.
Yeah.
Like that just tells you right there.
What I like about it, it's like easy to listen to, but it's still interesting.
What I like about this is it's sexy. I like that it's smart.
It's very
and I
smart.
love that it's actually romantic and dark at the same time. You know what I mean? I love that you can listen to it when you're sad, when you're horny, when you're, you know what I mean? Like all moods, you can listen to it. And that's what I like about it. And I think that's why it stands the test of time.
This for sure stands the test of time. There's an edge to it that even for like a 1990 album, wasn't really touched at the time, and it still holds that edge even today. Like by today's standards, this could be released today
and
still be like
oh yeah,
relevant.
Agree, 100%.
Yeah.
I like that it's easy to like just put on and listen to.
Oh, for sure.
It's really accessible, dude. Like in people that like we're mostly metalheads, or at least I am. And occasionally when I'm hanging out and like with people that aren't metalheads, you know, want to listen to an album, I'm like, let's put on Depeche Mode, Violator.
Well,
it's that good.
That's kind of what I talked about. Like when we were kids, this was like the album that everybody could agree
It's going to
on.
be a go. Now that we've reviewed it and listened to it a lot, and like I like to play albums, this is going to be a go-to up there with like Fiona Apple, Fetch the Bolt Cutters.
Yeah.
This is going to be like go-to one for me to like play in mixed company, I guess.
Dude, like the tracks World in My Eyes, Sweetest Perfection, Waiting for the Night,
Bangers, dude. Policy of Truth. Oh my
Dude.
God, the lyrics on that?
Dude,
Clean
and Dangerous. Like, dude, the lyrics in Dangerous, I'm like, I fucking totally get this.
The transition between Blue Dress, and so Blue Dress has this like outro part,
And
then transitions into Clean. Oh, bro. Love that. That's the organic shit we're talking about.
Yeah,
That's not just like electronic music, bang, bang, bang. This is an album. Excellently done, dude. Really impressed. I'm not a fan of this kind of music. The closest I got to it was stuff like Priest. Have you guys ever heard Priest?
I have not.
A very similar vocal style to this. It's kind of like more modern, new wave, I guess. I'm not, like I'd say, I don't really fuck with this genre, but I was surprised with how much I like this.
Okay. I'm actually surprised to hear you say that, because like I felt like when Nathan picked this is kind of right up our alley, but I felt like you were kind of outcast on this.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a hard one for Matt, actually.
Yeah, but to hear that you really dug it, it's kind of cool, because it just shows that you're finally evolving, Matt.
Well, no, earlier, because we've actually had this out for a minute. We haven't gotten together for a while, and like I remember Matt being like, I actually really like this. And I was like, dude.
Yeah.
That made me feel a lot better, because I was like,
well, when Pete showed it to me,
I know you like second guess yourself after you picked it. You're like, oh, I don't know. I was like, no.
Dude, sometimes you don't want to pick albums that like you know that is just going to get shit on.
Yeah.
Like both of you.
You were hesitant to pick like a hardcore album. I think when you picked Terror, you were just like kind of worried about it.
Yeah. But I think, man, I'm so glad I picked this.
Yeah, this was a great pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what would you rate it, Matt?
I give it a 4.4 out of 5.
Damn,
I think this is really good, dude. Like I said before, I'm surprised with how much I listen to it. I find myself just listening to it over. I'll listen to it like tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Dude.
It's so many bangers. I think my favorite track is probably Policy of Truth, but Enjoy the Silence, Personal Jesus, Sweetest Perfect. Like there's so many good songs on this. Clean.
Dude, Clean and Dangerous are like my tracks.
I don't think I'm going to go through and listen to like the rest of the Depeche Mode discography.
Since they have 938 albums.
Apparently, yeah.
And a lot of it is like remixes and different stuff like that.
So that was one of my complaints about this, was like...
happens with electronic music.
It was hard to find it was hard to find this album without the 2016 or 2006 remaster.
Yeah, I purposely avoided all that shit.
Yeah, and I was like, damn it.
Nah, I need an album.
So I ended up having to put the whole like the remix album and then like take the extra songs off it, which kind of bugged me, but they were still decent. I mean, I didn't catch it till like the first time through. I was like, I don't remember this album, like I don't think it should be this long.
I listened to a bit of the new one, Memento Mori,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a contender for album of the year. So subscribe, and we'll release our end of the year video,
Nice.
best of 2023, and see if Memento Mori shows up on either of our lists. Casey, what do you rate Depeche Mode Violator?
So I am not with you. I did not go as high as you.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa!
I gave this a 4.3.
Ah.
I feel like going into this, I never listened to this album as a whole when I was a kid. I know like lots of songs and stuff, and like Depeche Mode was kind of in my wheelhouse, and they were in my rotation when I was a kid. But like to go back to this and realize that all like the big songs I listened to were on this album, to me was kind of like crazy, because I didn't realize that at the time. We were poor, we were white trash. A lot of my album or music was tapes recorded from the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know what albums they came off of. So yeah, this was refreshing. It's catchy, lots of great tracks, lots of great tempo and momentum, and like you said, it flows as an album.
Dude, it goes. It's paced so well.
It really is.
Yeah, it's nice. There's nothing in this that gets.
I like that the first
boring.
song has like an intro kind of bit, and it's like not the best song on the track, but it's like a good appetizer.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple tracks in, they hit you with like Personal Jesus, and then there's like bangers, like spread it out nicely.
Like Personal Jesus is one of my least favorite tracks.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I've just heard it so many times. I've heard it covered.
Yeah, covers.
It's not a bad song. Don't get me wrong.
It's just one of the ones that's like I could do without. But
I've just heard it a lot.
Yeah, I'm more interested by the other stuff.
What's your favorite track on this album?
I honestly think the first track, "World in My Eyes," is probably,
really.
Yeah,
really?
I love
Mine's
the way it
either
kicks
Blue
off.
Dress, Clean, or Dangerous for sure. And then dude, Policy of Truth, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, these are all
really
bangers.
It's hard to pick.
That's why I didn't go as high as Matt.
Yeah.
But I agree with you 100%, Casey. 4.3.
Yeah.
I love this band. I've always loved this band. I think there are other tracks on other albums that just are like a fucking amazing. You know what I mean? But this as a whole, as an album, they did so well, man.
So 4.3, 4.3, 4.3, and 4.2?
No, 4.3, 4.3, 4.4.
Yeah. Oh.
You're the high man.
So 4.3, 4.4, and 4.3?
Yeah.
Wow, it's rare that we get that close.
Yeah. So that just says that go listen to Depeche Mode.
Not only that, but the fact that it spans a musical catalog of somebody who's into death metal, into black metal.
This is what I'm saying.
Into modern rock metal.
It's
still that
Depeche
good
Mode
for
has
everybody.
influenced more bands than we even know. Like Deftones.
Oh, dude.
Dude, tell me Deftones.
I think new wave kind of sucks for the most part, but this album is good as shit. Very good.
Yeah.
That was Depeche Mode. Violator. We are Blenderstyle. Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe.
I'm the Violator. Terrific Violator.